Yo, it's Alex from Elite Football Conditioning here again, and this week I'm going to come at you with another video that is kind of an evolution from the video that we recorded last week and from the drills that we did last week, which were all centered around quickness and reactivity and being able to get off the ground as fast as possible. So we will look to evolving your ladder drills into some more speedy bounces, training the qualities that are going to make those ladder drills even more effective. Now, today, and in this video, we're going to be looking more around speed, and we're going to be looking at the qualities that improve speed, more specifically, strength. So when it comes to speed, we've got a few things that are going to actually help us. We've got our range of motion at the joints and the positions that we are able to hit. Then we've got the technique that we look at when we're actually running and when we're in stride, when we're in flight, or more specifically for football, like the different positions that we're going to get into and have to move from, because it's not all in a straight line. So we've got those things. And then we've got stride frequency, the frequency at which we can hit the floor and continue to get off the floor as fast as possible, a little bit like we did in those drills last week. The big thing that we can really look to improve is our flight time. So the work that we can do here in the gym is to actually increase the amount of time we're in the air and the distance we can travel per step. That's what we want. We want bang for our buck. We want quality of movement in the direction that we want to go, so that we can beat our opponent, get to the ball first, react quicker, and if it means getting away from someone, getting through on goal, creating a yard of space, which we know can be so important, especially as you look to progress through the levels. Being able to create that yard of space and then take advantage of it is going to absolutely kill your opposite number. So we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to have a look at 3 exercises. One is going to be very, very general, very, very broad in terms of the strength qualities we're going to be training. And then the other 2, number 2 and 3, are going to be very similar, very, very similar, but with some very subtle changes. So number 1, we're going to take a look at the back squat. Right then, exercise number 1, the back squat. Probably one of the biggest, most general exercises that we can do to increase in our leg strength. What I'm going to do today is just talk you through some of the basic positions and show you the simple kind of pattern that we're going to follow. So just replicate this as best as you can. I'm not going to go into a full detailed description of it all, because it'll take me about half an hour to get through it. So just for the purposes of keeping this short for you today, we're just going to go through some of the basics. Number 1, get your footwear right. Either wear a proper gym training shoe or go barefoot. Nothing wrong with going barefoot in your back squat. So always set the bar up with the pins just below the height of the top of your shoulders and the bar somewhere in between your chest and the top there, just so you don't have to kind of squat out from the bottom or extend up onto your tippy toes to get the bar away. Take your grip, get everything underneath the bar, hips included. Push up, take 1 step back, and then your basic squat stance, feet possibly just outside shoulder width or just outside hip width with your toes turned slightly out. That's probably going to be the best angle for most of us, just based on the way that the hip is structured. From there, we're going to keep the chest up, the elbows back, shoulders back, and stick your chest out as much as you can so you look a bit like a pigeon. And then from there, eyes forwards, you're just going to squat down, sit into the bottom of your squat, and then drive up. So notice how everything stays in line, everything stays solid. There's no tilting of the hips at the bottom, squeezing the knees out. So they followed the path of the toes, so they're not caving inwards. I'll show you what that looks like. So the knees caving inwards, we don't want this. All right, this is going to be a very, very bad position. It's not a strong position, it's not a solid position, and it's not a position you want to be utilizing on the pitch. So stay solid, get as deep as you can into it, and squeeze away from the bottom. In this exercise, we want to be using the full range of movement that we possibly can access. So don't worry about shortening your squats or like not getting fat. Actually, oh fuck me, I'll carry on from where I was. So with this exercise, we want to make sure we're utilizing the full range of movement that we possibly can and moving well, moving safely. The caveat to this is that if you are a younger athlete, you don't want to be loading this up with a lot of weight. The first thing that we want to be doing is building a really good foundation of technique. So if your technique is poor, in fact, actually, I'll take that back. At any age, if your technique on this exercise is poor, reduce the weight. You really do have to get your ego out of the way on this one. Perform it safely, perform it well, and be consistent with it, because if you consistently perform this exercise and any strength exercise, over time that's going to accumulate to elite level results, which is what we are going for. So always move well. Once you've got this one mastered, you can also layer in exercise number 2, the Bulgarian split squat. So we're going to look at loading up a single leg. So running, speed, sprinting, changing direction, generally even jumping, especially in football, is generally going to be done off one foot, off one leg. It's because we have to react in different ways. We have to be able to turn and be more agile than if we were just doing a high jump or something. So we're going to be looking at loading up that single leg, looking at how we're balanced, looking at our posture and being able to control the force and put as much force into the ground. It's going to be a little bit lighter than the back squat, purely on the fact that you are on single leg, but it's going to help us keep a balance from leg to leg by using the same load from side to side. Let's take a look at that one. Right then, this exercise is the Bulgarian split squat. What we're going to do is look to load up a single leg, the front leg, and we are going to be using dumbbells for the purpose of today. You can also use a barbell for, well, barbell on your shoulders. You can put weights in various other positions. You can go with a kettlebell in a front rack position. I like this one because it gives us a very stable base. It's got good balance from side to side, and it means that we're not loading up the spine too much and compressing our vertebrae too much. So what we're going to look to do is the back foot is just going to rest on a bench. We're going to go laces down, and I've said this before, but make sure your footwear is right. So what I've got here, I'm just wearing a good solid training shoe. It's designed for the gym. It's not a soft squishy trainer. We don't want anything absorbing that force for us, so we want it all going through the foot. You can perform these barefoot as well if you want. So what we're going to do, elevate that rear foot onto the bench, laces down. That's purely there for balance. We are not putting force through the bench. So if your hips are back, if your weight's back and you feel like you're kicking the bench away from yourself, you need to stop. You're doing it wrong. So we're going to balance shoulders, weight forwards over the middle of that front foot. We're going to grab the dumbbells and we're going to keep a good straight back position. Keep your eyes forward. You're just going to dip down. Again, that knee can come forward of the toes as long as it moves in line with the path of the foot. Going to lower into that position, get as deep as we can and squeeze up. You will notice that when we come to drill position number 3, for more of the special strength and the speed technique, there are going to be some slight differences in that joint angle. And that is the Bulgarian split squat. Yeah. All right, number 3, we're going to have a look at reactive Bulgarian split squat. So this is where we're going to be pushing off the ground fast. We're going to get down into that position. We're going to drive up as quick as we can. And this is what we relate to as more of a special strength exercise. So what I mean by special strength is it contains a lot more qualities that are closely linked to the sport we are practicing for, i.e. football, in terms of the amount of the angles that we're going to hit at the joint, the force we're going to generate, and the reps that we're going to be performing. They're the little qualities and the little intricacies in this that we want to see and we want to get right. So let's take a look at that. So we've seen the Bulgarian split squat. What we're going to do now is evolve that exercise for a more special strength purpose or more of a speed purpose. The basic position is the same. We've got our shoulders forwards, weight balance through the middle of that front foot, and the back foot is literally there for balance. It's doing nothing. I'm not putting any force through it. I'm not kicking the bench away. that's just resting. So we want laces down. If you've got your toe pushed into it, there is going to be a tendency for you to drive through that back leg, which we don't want. Now, the basic movement pattern is going to be the same. We're going to still dip. However, this time, the joint angles are going to be a little more specific. So we're not going to be dipping as low. So we're going to be coming down to about halfway into more of a jumping position. And that's exactly what we're then going to do. We're going to jump and we're going to drive that knee up. Notice how we catch in that same position. So we're not catching and absorbing all the way down because we want to react to then go again. Think about it as hitting the ground when sprinting. When you sprint, you don't hit the ground and come down and then push off. It's too slow. We want fast speed on this. So let's have a go. Dip. And notice that every time we drive through that front foot, that knee lifts up to hip height into that sprinting position. So if you're looking at that as that mid-flight position when sprinting for that ground contact, that's going to enable the foot to come down in the right position again and again and again, so you can get away from your opposite number. Use that drill wisely. What you can see there is we've got 3 drills that are focusing on very broad strength, very general strength with the back squat first. Then we get a little bit more specific. We get a little bit quicker. We go single leg. Then we're going to look to working on more of the speed aspects. So we're going a bit lighter. We're not going to be using any weight for the fast reactive single leg drill, for that single leg Bulgarian split squat. And we're going to be performing more of a jumping movement. So again, that mimics us being able to take advantage of the strength we have, apply more force into the ground to get more height to then hopefully, I say hopefully, there's no hopefully about it, we are going to get more distance per stride. Now, the key to this is the stronger you are, i.e. if you can back squat 150 kilos, for example, when it comes to moving your body weight, let's say you move around 70 kilos, you are going to move further, you're going to travel faster than if you're only able to back squat 100 kilos, because your strength relative to your body weight is going to be crucial for that power and speed development. So do not neglect your strength work. This is where we work on this. This is what this is all for. In the gym, you need to be getting stronger. And as a footballer, getting stronger doesn't necessarily mean getting bulky, looking massive. Not everybody is going to look like Adama Traore. He is a freak of nature and a beast. You will not necessarily look like him. And being strong is going to increase your capacity for being fast. Fact. If you do it in the right ways, you structure it in the right ways, normally in a program, or in a lot of my programming, certainly we will have a look at increasing the general strength first. Then we'll have a look at some of those single leg movement qualities. We'll have a look at making it more specific. So once we've got that general base and we've got a really good foundation of strength to work with, that's when we'll then look to do those special strength exercises and get you as fast as possible. That is how we get results. So if you want to make sure that you're up in your game and you're getting those results, feel free, send me a message. If you've got any questions, ask me. You can come and check out the online programming. Come and see me in person, especially if you're local to Manchester. Let's go.